Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Potential Unleashed. We are back with another video. This is Classroom of the Elite Year 2 Volume 3 review. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life, a lot of stuff. Anime related content has been coming out, right? Just been really busy, but we're back. I'm gonna try my best to do at least one of these a month in order to get caught up, because right now currently I am on Year 2 Volume 7, and I think Volume 8 released like last week. Translation, I haven't seen them out anywhere, so yeah. But with that away, if you guys enjoy regular anime content and Classroom Elite content, I've done Season 2 reviews, I've done Season 2 reactions and other discussions, other reviews. They'll be in the description below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. With that away, my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's get into the review. Chapter 1, NANASE TSUBASA'S Soliloquy. So NANASE, she recalls someone gently touching her head in the past, where this person of hers that they lost their dream too soon, where she believes that Kiyotaka is the reason for the person losing their dreams, and she vows to defeat him, sending him back to the White Room, because he's not meant to be amongst the other students. He's meant to only be in the White Room. Chapter 2, everyone has their own strategies. So how this island test works, we get more detail about it. Basically, there are designated points where people get. You get more points if you arrive first, known as the early bird bonus, where the more people you have in the group, the more points. So, standard typical early bird bonus is, I believe, 10, and then I think it's 3 or a certain number for each individual that shows up. But let's say there's one person in the group. Obviously, the more people that arrive, in a bigger group, because it starts off as 3, you can make it to 6 and even 7. You start getting points based off of how many people are there. However, when it comes to the early bird bonuses, every member of the group has to be there in order for it to count. So that's where the individuals have the advantage. Now, in order to get to these designated spots, you have to get there at least, you can't miss 3 in a row. If you do, you start deducting points. There's 4 per day, except there's 3 on the first day and 3 on the last day, where movements and points, they're monitored by watches given to the students, where these watches, they monitor health, body temperature, blood pressure, etc. And depending on their health, students will be forced to drop out because they're no longer physically fit in order to participate in this special exam. Now, watches, if they're forcibly removed, you won't be able to monitor your points. You can go back to the start to get new watches. However, watches, they can be broken, right? And which people tend to take advantage of that, especially in book 4. But you still don't get your points. You have to go back to start to get new ones. Where the special tests throughout the island, you have different tests in order to allow you to get more points, whether it's physically or mentally, right? Like quizzes or tests, or doing something, for example, like a race. That is a possibility. Where groups, they get 5,000 points to spend in order to get supplies before going on the island, because you can buy some later, but they become more expensive on the island. And also, in terms of water, you can head back to the start to get water. However, you have to drink it all there you can't take any back with you. Chapter 3, the curtain rises on the uninhabited island exam. Kiyotaka, he chose to get a tent, water, portable food, a torch, a portable charger, a lighter, pot, and paper cuts for a total of 4,960 points. Whereas they're about to disembark, Kiyotaka and Haruta, they talk, where Haruta's like, yo, you better get a high class ranking, where Kiyotaka's like, hey, I'll do what I can. He also talks to Kiryuin. She is kind of like the Koenji of the third years, where they both have the same first starting point, where she's like, yo, let's go together, and he's like, nah, I can't keep up with you, or she's like, yeah, you're lying, and she ends up leaving. Where we also figure out that Ari, Hakura, and Akita, that they formed a group, where Kiyotaka, he gets to his first point, and he notices that NANASE is there as well. Kiyotaka, he goes and tries to take on one of the special tests, where it's the grip test, because he's super strong. However, he is too late. Where Hoshinomiya, the class, now they're class C, their homeroom teacher makes mention of Kiyotaka's abilities, saying that someone as talented as him shouldn't be in Class D, which I'll probably make a video about this, why Kiyotaka is in Class D, especially because I know more about him as a character. But you know, I'll digress. I'll save that in the future. Maybe it'd be next week, the week after that, I don't know, right? It'll come out eventually. But Hoshinomiya, she makes mention that she has yet to have a class drop this low, and she's disappointed by it because people like Kenzaki and Ichinose, Shibata, that they're all very talented, so it shouldn't be this low. But that just makes mention of how talented the other students are from Class A, B, and D. They're all like really good, and she ends up inviting Kiyotaka to join, where he declines. He's like, well, why would I join a class specifically, even if you guys did have the 20 million? Why would I join a class not knowing if they would graduate from Class A? That just doesn't make logical sense. On the first day, Kiyotaka wasn't able to participate in any events. He did get arrival bonuses though, but he makes mention in his head that he's probably one of the lower ranking groups on the first day, where he kept running into NANASE without her group. Her group is consistent of Amasawa and Hosen, so he finds a little bit suspicious, where late at night Kiyotaka, he contemplates on how Tsukishiro is going to move on him, where he believes the best course of action to force Kiyotaka to drop out would be for him to retire due to injury because of a quote accident. Chapter 4, Traveling Companion. Kiyotaka, he moved around his location, getting arrival bonuses, getting some early bird bonuses, where he kept running into NANASE like I mentioned in the last chapter, thinking that they could potentially have the same route. However, he thought it was like really weird how their encounter rate was so high, where NANASE, she's like, yo, let me join you, and Kiyotaka's like, well, what the hell would benefit, like how would you benefit from joining me? Where NANASE, she's like, yo, Hosen and, you know, Amasawa, we got into a fight and they thought it would be best if we all worked along. Where she promised Kiyotaka that if she accompanied him, that she wouldn't slow him down. He can work at his own pace, pretend like she's not here, and she will allow him to step into different destinations first so he can get the early bird bonuses. And he agrees, but he challenges her to keep up with his pace, right? He doesn't truly trust NANASE because of the stuff that happened with Hosen, so I guess this is the best way for him to keep his enemies close, right? The first special exam that Kiyotaka was able to participate in was a quiz, and you would think that Kiyotaka is going to win this one. You'd be wrong, because this is a pop culture quiz around anime. When I first read this, when he was like, what the heck, like I had never seen Kiyotaka react like that. He ended up failing. I think he got like a 20% because, well, he's not culture on that, right? They probably, well, they definitely didn't teach that in the white room. And NANASE, she got a 25%, so she didn't do much better than he did. Pseudo, his group got first because I think they have Hondo, who's like a really nerd. He ended up doing well on the test. Where Pseudo and his group and Kiyotaka's group, they meet up towards the end of the day, and that's how the day ends up ending. I also want to mention that Kiyotaka got some extra points because he did a math and English test, and as Pseudo and Kiyotaka's, their group is setting up camp and all of that, they notice that he isn't being himself, and we all know it's because of Shinohara and stuff like that, where everyone starts grilling Ike, flaming him, talking about, yo, what's wrong, where he ends up confessing and out loud saying that he likes Shinohara, where NANASE gives Ike some romantic advice, which is kind of funny because NANASE, she doesn't seem like the type of person to have any experience in that field, but I guess a lot of people, they can give good advice and they don't take their advice at the same time, or they can give advice not really knowing that it works, and hey, it's up to the person if they want to accept it or not. Chapter 5, what it means to like someone. Kiyotaka goes to the beach flag competition where all the men's spots are filled. However, NANASE, she's able to compete because they still have one slot for women. Where Vice President Kiriyama, he is one who participates as well, where it's made mention that NANASE chose a daring swimsuit, which Kiyotaka comments about, where she's like, yo, I just seen a lot of TV and people wear this, so that's why I chose this one. And in the men's competition, Kiriyama, he ends up winning, where NANASE ends up winning. NANASE, she was holding back a little bit, at least from Kiyotaka's point of view, where I think she got a B+ in her academic, or her rating, or her OAA rating, where Kiyotaka says she probably easily could be an A or A+, and that's definitely a possibility. Kiyotaka, he was spotted by Nagama, where they talk. Nagama wants to challenge Kiyotaka in some way because of what happened with Haruka Manabu, wants to know why he's so fond of him. Where Nagumo, he says if there's anybody that isn't a third year in high in the rankings, because how the rankings work, they don't show them for the first few days, then they show them and then they stop showing it on the final day. But Nagumo, he says if, hey, anybody but the third years aren't up here, I'm gonna end up crushing it, which he probably will. Nana says she questions why Kiyotaka worked alone because she mentioned the interaction with Hosen, saying that it wasn't normal and many people would probably try to work with him, which is true, but he also didn't want to be sabotaged with the White Room assassins and get other people involved as well. Where Kiyotaka, he's like, well, you know, you're probably not a normal high school student if you were able to notice that. Kiyotaka, he goes, he takes a history test. Hashimoto and Kamuro, they take it as well, where Kiyotaka blows them out the water. Later that night, we end up running into Karuzawa for the first time on the island, where she sees Kiyotaka and is kind of taken aback by it. Where Kei and Kiyotaka, they both go into the forest. I think Kiyotaka went in first, and then a couple minutes later, Kei went after him, where they sat by a tree stump. They end up holding hands, they end up talking, where Kei, she wondered why Kiyotaka was going around with a first year girl, because NANASE, you know, is liked by everybody, she's very cute, etc. So she feels a little bit jealous. And Kei, she was, you know, saying how she's frustrated that he spent his time with a girl that's not her. Where Kiyotaka, he ends up joking, but he ends up kissing her in order to ease her worry, saying that, yo, you're my only one, da da da, stuff like that, you know, doing his little smooth talk thing. Where she ends up taken aback by it, but he tells her to go ahead first and he'll follow her later. Where they both reflect on how their first kiss went, and we get a little bit more insight on Kiyotaka talking about how he wished it lasted a little bit longer. Chapter 6, Unseen Enemy. NANASE and Kiyotaka, they are woken up by the sound of an alarm. It sounds like the sound that the watch makes whenever it goes off, where the group, including Sudo, Ike, NANASE, and the rest of them, they go and investigate. Where Komiina and Kinoshita, they are unconscious. They are members of Shinohara's group, and Shinohara's not there. According to Komiina, they felt he felt a shock in his ankle and they fell down the slope, which are both really hurt. He's worried about Shinohara, so he goes and tries to climb up the slope, where Kiyotaka goes with him and shows him the proper way to go so Ike doesn't hurt himself. Where they find a scared Shinohara who was in the bushes, where she doesn't really remember what all was going on, but she did see somebody push them down, and she did notice a group of first year was close by them. NANASE, while Kiyotaka and Ike are up there, she notices a presence and goes after it. I want to make mention that Kiyotaka previously noted this presence, but he didn't react to it because he didn't think it was necessary. Where the presence run away from NANASE, and it's actually faster than her, right? NANASE is very gifted in her athletics, so to prove that somebody can outrun her is very impressive. Where NANASE catches a glimpse and she figures out who it is, but the readers, we don't know at this point in time. And then as all this is happening, the first years, they arrive in a group, including Tsubaki, the one that Shinohara was talking about, where Chabishiro and Sakagami Sensei, they both believe that Shinohara is lying, that there's no way that somebody could have pushed them down. She thinks that she's just covering for the group. Where Ike tries to defend her with Komaina, he's like, yo, show me what a real man is, right? Protect her, make sure she doesn't drop out. Where that's what he goes and tries to do. Where Shinohara is like, no, I'm just hold you back, and Ike's like, nah, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure you don't drop out because I don't want you to drop out. Where also it's nice to mention that Sakura, her group, with the rest of the Kiyotaka group, that they're currently ranked 9th from the bottom. Just to remind you guys, if you're ranked in the bottom 5, you get expelled, and the top 5, they get a bunch of rewards from the school. Chapter 7, the Aloof Child Prodigy of Class 2D. So Shinohara's group, they entered the bottom 10, where Kiyotaka, he ends up talking to Ruin Katsuraki, where Kiyotaka, he's 74th ranked, and Ruin and Katsuraki are 10th ranked, where Ruin, he agrees to help Shinohara and go along with Kiyotaka's plan because, well, 2 people from his class are in that group, and Komiina, because of his athletics, he believes is indispensable. Kiyotaka and NANASE, they go towards playing tug of war, where NANASE wins because no girls are there, and Koenji's up there going against Kiyotaka, where Kiyotaka basically forfeits because, well, he gets no point. Well, he gets points, and Koenji gets points as well, who's currently in the top 3. They will get points. It makes no sense for 2 people from class, the same class, to tire each other out and try to, get points for both of them benefit. Where personally, I wish to see who is really stronger, Koenji and Kiyotaka, because Koenji is a freaking beast. And then later Kiyotaka, he goes to try to swim in a 2K mile race, but Koenji, he ends up taking that spot. So Koenji ended up beating Kiyotaka and NANASE down the mountain to take that test, where he wins as well. And NANASE, she plays the top 3, but the true intention was Kiyotaka to go talk to Sagi and Naki, where Kiyotaka gets her to agree to work with him. The second year, they're working together in order to win. Later at night, some students from Class C, which is Ichinose's class, came and set up camp with Kiyotaka and NANASE. They invite Kiyotaka because they want to know how him and Ichinose are doing in terms of relationship. Have they made any progress? Because Ichinose is always talking about him, and like 80% of the guys are in love with Ichinose. So, Kiyotaka is somebody who's rising in popularity, going out with somebody who is also really popular. Hey, that's news to spread around. I mean, nobody knows that he's going out with Karuizawa, but hey, if he were to go with Ichinose, that's like the talk of the town. Chapter 8, the first years on the move. Kiyotaka and NANASE, they're climbing a mountain where NANASE, her fatigue is starting to get to her because she participated in a lot of events where Kiyotaka didn't have to. And also he has more stamina because, well, he's the guy from the White Room. Where Kiyotaka, he assists her in climbing the mountain. We also cut to the first year's meeting where Tsubaki is shown to be more of the leader, and they're all aiming to take down Kiyotaka, which mentions in the previous book she was like, yo, they gave up on him. So she ended up lying to his face, right? I find that funny. Where Tsubaki, she ends up using Kushida as blackmail to threaten Yagami, because Yagami likes her. So Yagami ends up spinning plans, telling Tsubaki all about Kushida's past, where more and more people are starting to know, which is going to be trouble for Kushida in the future. Chapter 9, Identity Reveal. NANASE and Kiyotaka, they take a detour because of terrain. It's muddy and wet because it's raining, where NANASE confronts Kiyotaka and they fight, where Kiyotaka dodges all her attacks as she exerts her energy. He punches and kicks at her but stops right before he makes contact because he knows the present is he doesn't want like anybody to take pictures or anything like that of him and potentially get him expelled. Where Kiyotaka reveals that NANASE can't be the White Room assassin because she's good but not good enough to be somebody from the White Room. Where NANASE has a split personality sorta, where she becomes Matsuo's son and ends up becoming stronger whenever she like channels that part of her. Honestly, I thought this part was stupid. I'm not gonna hold you, it was kind of cringe, and it honestly made me not really like NANASE in this moment. It was really weird, I'm not gonna lie to you. But she's doing this to get revenge for her childhood friend, which is Matsuo's son, because she blames Kiyotaka for having, what happened to him. Remember in her soliloquy talking about taking away somebody's joy or smile or something along those lines. She believes that Kiyotaka, because Matsuo killed himself and all of that, Kiyotaka's to blame for his son going through all the trouble that he did. It's also cool to mention that Kushida was the presence that Kiyotaka noticed earlier, where she's trying to find evidence to get him expelled. However, Amasawa is there and ends up beating up Kushida. Kushida is getting drugged through the dirt. I love Amasawa in this moment, and it's revealed that Amasawa is the true White Room assassin. Now, originally I thought it was NANASE. Well, I thought it was Amasawa at first, but then like more and more was going towards NANASE. I was like 30% sure it was Amasawa, but then like when NANASE started doing more, I kind of kicked Amasawa out the group. But it is what it is, right? But it's revealed that Kiyotaka is important to her. She says it's more than loved her or something along those lines, so she's going to end up helping him in the future. Chapter 10, Seas of Unrest. Now, Ichinose, we finally get to her towards the end of the book, where her watch is broke, so she has to go get a new one. She's headed back to the start, where she overhears Tsukishiro and Shiba, who is year 1 Class D's teacher, where they're talking about Kiyotaka mentioning the White Room and getting him expelled, where she tries to run away, but she ends up tripping and they end up spotting her, where Tsukishiro mentions she said anything that he would personally get a lot of people from Class C expelled. And we know Ichinose has a really big heart and she doesn't want that, so she's probably not going to say anything. Where Matsuo's son, like I said earlier, was NANASE's best friend or a childhood friend, and because of Kiyotaka's father, he was harassed and ended up killing himself. Where she realized that Kiyotaka didn't do anything wrong, but she needed to take her frustration and anger on someone, where she's like, yo, I'm gonna drop out of this school. Where Kiga's like, no, don't do that. Matsuo's son wouldn't want that. You should cooperate with me. And he ends up getting NANASE as a tool. overall, a decent book. Personally, spoiler alert a little bit, I kind of like book 4 way more than I did book 3. At first I thought book 3 was going to be better than the year 1 island test, but it was a little bit of a letdown in my opinion. It wasn't horrible, but I was expecting it to be better than what it was. Not to say it was a little bit annoying, and I wish we got to see Kiyotaka participate in more tasks, but it is what it is. Overall, it was a solid book. Like I say, year 2 volume 4 was fantastic. Can't wait to do my review for that. Let me know how you guys feel about this book in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.